Hi guys, today we're going to do lesson 3.7 and we're going to go over estimate decimal sums and differences. So we're looking at page 189 in your workbooks. Unlock the problem. A singer is recording a CD. The lengths of the three songs are 3.4 minutes, 2.78 minutes, and 4.19 minutes. About how much recording time will be on the CD? So it says use rounding to estimate. Round to the nearest whole number, then add. So 3.4. So if we look at our whole numbers, and I'm going to just use the highlighter here to highlight our whole numbers. These are the ones we're going to round to. We always look to the right of them. So on this, we're going to look over here to the 4. Is 4 greater than 5? No. So we're going to estimate it to be 3. Then I look at the next one. I have a 7. 7's greater than 3, so we're going to estimate that one to be 3. And then we have a 1. It is less than 5, so we're going to keep that at 4. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So there will be about 10 minutes of recording time on the CD. Next it says try this, use rounding to estimate. It says round to the nearest whole dollar, then subtract. So the nearest whole dollar again would be into the ones. So I look to the right. 9 is definitely greater than 5, so I would round that one up to $28. And the next one I have a 7, and 7's greater than 5, so I'm going to round that up to $12. This time we're subtracting, we're not adding. So 8 minus 2 is 6, 2 minus 1 is 1, so it would be about $16. For B, it says round to the nearest $10. So in that case, we're looking at the tens place this time. And we look to the right. I have a 7 here. So 7 is greater than 5. So I'm going to go ahead and round this one to $30. And then we have a 1 here. It's less than 5. So we can go ahead and estimate that to $10. Again, it's subtraction. So 30 minus 10 is 20. All right. Let's go ahead and turn the page. All right, this time we're going to use a number line to help us round, and we have a bit of a new vocab word. It says benchmarks are familiar numbers used as points of reference. You can use the benchmarks of 0, 25 hundredths, 50 hundredths, or 75 hundredths, which is the same as 25, 50, 75. And they use those because we're all familiar with them because of money. And 1 to estimate the decimal sums and differences. So example 1 says use benchmarks to estimate this problem. 18 hundredths plus 43 hundredths. Locate and graph a point on the number line for each decimal. Identify which benchmark each decimal is closer to. So as you can see that they already put 18 hundredths right here. So we need to go ahead and put 43 hundredths on our number line. So you want to just kind of count your tick marks. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in between. So it'd be 5. So you got to think about halfway to 50 would be about 40, a little bit over. So 0.43 would be roughly right here. And we'll put 0.43 hundredths. And now you have to ask yourself, and it even says it right here for you, think 18 hundredths is between 0 and 25. It is closer to, well look, here's 0, here's 25 hundredths, and 1800s is right here. It's much closer to 2500s. So that one, if we use the benchmark to go ahead and estimate, we would pick 2500s. Now the next one, it's going to be between 2500s and 5000s. It is definitely closer to 5000s. So down here in the blue, we're gonna put in our numbers we just discussed. So we take our estimates and we add them together. Well, 50 plus 25 is 75. So it is about 7500s. Okay, the next one, example number 2. Same thing, but this time we are subtracting, so we gotta be careful. So the first number we have is 0.22. So here's 0.25. So it would be pretty close to that, right? Kind of put it right here, and that is 0.22. And our other number was 0.76, so obviously that would be just past 0.75. So 0.75 is definitely between 1 and 0.75. And it would definitely be closer to 0.75 because it is at the very, very beginning of that group there, okay? And if you wanted, you could go ahead and put 0.75 down here so you're ready. And then now we have to do the next one, which was 0.22, and it does fall between 0 and 0.25. But we can definitely tell that it is closer to the end of that group. So our estimate there would be 0.25. And 25 plus 75 is, oh, this is subtraction. Sorry, guys. So 75 minus 25 is 50. Okay. And down here at the bottom, it's just asking us to repeat our answer. All right, let's go ahead and look at the share and show. And here you're just gonna wanna be careful, and the same thing with your homework. You wanna read the directions carefully. So for these problems, it's saying use rounding to estimate. And these problems is asking you to use benchmarks to estimate. So that's using the 25, 50, 75. So even if you wanted, you could put that up here so that you remember these are your only options when you're using benchmarks. Okay, so let's look at 1 through 3. That's just using estimating. So you can go to the closest ones place, or whole number place is totally fine. So we're looking here at 2, 1, and 5. So we look to the right. 3 is less than 5, so that will be estimated to be 2. 9 is greater than 5, so we're going to estimate that to be 2. The 1 goes up. And then I have a 2. It is less than 5, so that will stay a 5 when I estimate. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. So my estimated answer would be 9. Next one, I'm going to look at my whole numbers again. And then look to the right. 6 is greater than 5, so 9 is going to be 10. 1 is less than 5, so I'm going to keep it a 3. This time I'm subtracting, so 10 minus 3 is 7. And for number 3, I'm going to go ahead and still do my ones place, so 9 and 3. Look to the right, it's a 7. So 7 is greater than 5, but my problem is I already have a 9. So if I have to round 9 up, it actually becomes 10. So I carry a 1 over here, so that actually gives me 20. And I look down here at the next number, I have a 9 again. So that means the 3 now becomes a 4. So 20 plus 4 is 24. And this was money, so we want to make sure that we include our money sign. All right, 4 and 5. This time we're using benchmarks. So we're only using 25, 50, 75, or 1, but they're hundredths. Okay, so 34. That would fall between 25 and 50. And which do you think that it is closer to? I would say it's still going to be closer to 0.25. Then I have 0.1, so that's going to fall between 0 and 0.25, and it is definitely closer to 0, so that is actually just going to become a 0. And the next number I have is 0.25. Well, I don't really need to estimate that because it's already a benchmark. So 5 plus 5 is 10, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And you just bring that decimal rate down. Okay, the next one. So remember that we're using benchmarks. So we're only looking at the decimals technically. So the 10 would stay the same and the 4 is going to stay the same. 39 would fall between 25 and 50, and it's almost 40, so I would say it's definitely closest to my benchmark of 50. And then 4.28 is close to my benchmark of 25. And this time I'm subtracting, so I cannot take 5 from 0, so I gotta borrow. That becomes a 4, this becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 10 minus 4 is 6. Okay? And the problems 6 through 11 are just the same thing, just over again. So we're going to go ahead and skip that. And I'm going to go over your homework real quick. So your homework page tonight, you guys have 1 through 10 all, unless you're the blue group. So look on Google Classroom for the numbers that you need to do. And again, I just want to point out that here it says rounding to estimate, and here it says benchmark to estimate. So remember, these you have the choices of 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1. Those are your options, but remember, you keep the whole numbers. You don't get rid of those. So that's it for 3.7. We'll see you tomorrow.